Hello and welcome to another Deb's Palette and Dusty Attic mini art journal page. I'm using Strathmore watercolour paper here and I'm spraying it first with some dilution spray in lemon zest and some fresh lime. I'm using post-it note over the right hand side of my mini art journal page because I'd want to cover up a previously made page and I didn't want any of the sprays to go in and over the top. So anytime I'm using sprays, if I want to maintain the vibrancy, I always make sure to dry really well in between the layers. So next I'm going to use the Dusty Attic Chipboard called Hexagons number 1, DA3319, and here you can see I'm actually using the space that's left after I've punched out the hexagon shapes as a stencil, and I have sprayed Pure Sunshine over the top. Again, dilution spray and drying really well. Now, because dilutions are water reactive um, pigments, then I've just flicked with some water and used a paper towel to get rid of the excess, so then it gives me that look. Now I want to actually colour some of those hexagons that I had punched out before, and I thought I would try some Dina Wakley gloss sprays. You can see here I've got the dropper instead of the sprays because the spray tended to clog up. Now I wasn't 100% happy. I think I put too much red into this, so it made the chipboard look really dark. Now because this is a liquid acrylic and it's glossy, it's very plasticky, and you're really not meant to use your heat gun to dry it off. But I'm always really impatient, so you can see I've dried it off with my heat gun, and then I've gone back in with the yellow again to try and get it nice and bright. Again, I've gone in with the heat gun, still not 100% happy, so I thought, right, I've got some Simon Hurley lunar pastes here. There's some new lunar pastes, and I'm using the colours Yellow Jacket and Tangent. And what I've done is I've gone through with these two colours and just put a light layer on top of the coloured hexagons there already. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use some of that chipboard that you can see sitting off to the side there, the broken bits number 11 honeycomb D83319, to push into the paste. And then that gives you some more texture. So I'm actually using it as a stamp before I go ahead and I use it for what it was made for. So look, be a little bit inventive in your chipboard use. Don't be scared to think outside the box. And then when I'm finishing up, I'm just putting some of that yellow paste onto the actual honeycomb broken bits as well. These I did leave aside to dry. I didn't attack these with a heat gun because it is it's a texture paste. These are actually really pretty fluoro colors, but they've got a lovely metallic sheen to them as well. Once they were dried, I used some liquid acrylic, some Finnabair liquid acrylic in brown, because I wanted to bring some of that texture to the top so you could actually see the honeycomb pattern in there. And then I hit that with a heat gun as well. I actually really liked that when I did hit it with a heat gun, it bubbled. That doesn't bother me, but if it bothers you, just be aware that you may need to let that dry naturally. Next, I'm splattering. I'm using some of that leftover brown acrylic to spatter some on there, and then I decided it's kind of not dark enough. So I ended up getting out some black paint and then going ahead and putting some spatters on with some of the black paint as well. It's very easy to do this. You can use black gesso, you can use black ink, you can use black paint, whatever you've got handy, and it doesn't have to be overpowering. Mix it with a little bit of water and just flick. It gives a little bit more interest and texture to the page. I'm sorry, the page is a little bit out of frame here, but I'm hoping you get where I'm going with this. As per usual, always make sure that you dry really well. That way you're not smudging whatever you're working on. Now this bee graphic, this is a watercolor honeybee graphic. It's a printable art graphic from Chadwick Studios that I purchased on Etsy. I can leave a link to their page in the description down below. But I'm finding more and more that I'm going towards some printable graphics because it just makes it easier for me to concentrate on the backgrounds a little bit more and then have a focal point that's already done for me that I really like. Here you can see me using the archival ink to go around the edges to make them brown. Again, you don't have to do this if you don't want to do this, but it's entirely up to you. Now I'm taking a darkroom door stamp that's called Buzzing Bees, DDRS205. It's got a lovely honeycomb bit to it. So I'm going ahead and adding some of that stamping in the archival brown ink again, just to try and tie all of this together. So then I start gluing this. I'm using the Couture Creations glue here. It's a clear, quick drying adhesive. You can use any quick drying adhesive like that you like. I actually like this one because it gives me a little bit of time before it sets hard. It is a quick drying, but it does give me a little bit of time. As you'll see in a minute, positioning. When you go ahead and you're looking at how to position something, you might not be 100% happy where you've glued it down. So having this a little bit of open time with the glue does make it easier for you to then move some of your pieces around. Here I'm using a little bit of excess chipboard because I'd like some support underneath the large bee graphic that I've got. I don't want it to sort of submerge and cave in the middle in between those other raised chipboard pieces. So I'm just trimming it down to where I'm happy and comfortable with it so then it doesn't show up. And again, repositioning. It doesn't take long for this glue to set at all, but I just like the fact that I have a little bit of time to play when I'm sticking things down. Quite like the look of that little watercolour bee. He's cute. To try and come to the end of it, I'm using a small sticker from Tim Holtz Ideology Small Talk called Don't Forget to Fly, and that's going to almost finish off my page. Here you can see me using some PVA glue over the top, putting some dots down first because I've got some beads and some gems that I'm just going to use to finish off my little mini art journal page. I like the little bling pieces in sort of like a pearly yellow and a little bit of an amber coloured gems to pull out some colour around as well. To finish off, really, all you need to do is you can either use your black or your brown and go around the edges of the page. It just frames your page a little bit. You haven't seen me do that here, but that's what I've done at the end. And I really hope that you have enjoyed watching this video using some beautiful Dusty Attic projects. And I hope it inspires you to get your paints out and your art journal out and just have a little play. Don't forget to follow me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.